The volcano erupted violently, sending creatures into a frenzy as a group of armed people stood ready for battle in the forest. Behind them roared a dinosaur with glowing red eyes. It leapt forward with mouth wide to reveal sharp fangs, a brilliant light shining on its forehead. A swift attack ensued as the youth spun, chopping off the dinosaur's tail and landing lightly amidst a cloud of dust. The beast screamed as its limbs were severed, exploding moments after the youth sheathed his sword. His image appeared on the big screen, broadcast to other worlds with the message, "This is your future." Watching from afar with awe and admiration, Chansu stared at the call to apply quickly until a hand touched his shoulder. "Hey, you," the boss spoke up unexpectedly, arms folded behind his back. "Why don't you get back to work? These days, kids are full of delusions of power." Chansu bowed and apologized. The boss told him to clear the vines, and he hurried off saying, "Yes, sir." Panic set in as Chansu realized he had been noticed, and as the boss rambled about his own youth and working without orders, Chansu bit his lip, muttering that he couldn't be fired again. He worked frantically, his sickles slicing relentlessly until the vines were cleared so fast that the boss froze in mid-sentence. Gaping at the piled sacks of vines, the boss praised him lavishly, noting how rare it was to find someone like him. "Just finish that pile, and you can leave early." Chansu's eyes grew sad, wondering if the transmission was just a delusion while the city lay in ruins around him. Earth was dying, an unnamed tyrant offering the only answer: transport to another world. Heroes called teleporters left to fight monsters and restore Earth, and Chansu often stopped to watch them on the big screens, holding his sickle and whispering, "Could I become someone like that?" As the sun sank slowly, he walked on autopilot, dreading work tomorrow until a sign slammed into his view. The place was crowded, and Chansu wove through the mass of people, apologizing and asking to pass until he reached the front. "You're Chansu," the clerk said, looking at the slip Chansu handed over. "Yes, I'm here to check the progress of the inquiry." The clerk kept his gaze on the computer as lines appeared showing the deposit balance for the family search. "Ohanu, pay 4, 367.21. "Insufficient," the clerk dismissed him. "Chansu, we don't run this place on air and sunlight. If you can't cover the fees, come back later." "Next." Desperate for news on the world's location, Chansu begged for information but was shoved away by a big man cursing that he wasn't the only one waiting. Amidst the clamor of the crowd, Chansu dragged his weary body home. Taking off his shoes, he saw a box roll across the floor like a soccer ball from his childhood, triggering memories of his father. He recalled the gentle, high-ranking reclaimer playing soccer with him before being teleported away as Earth faded. The man had vanished, never to return. "Father," Chansu whispered, remembering the bony hand that had gripped his own. "Son," his mother had wept, promising she and grandmother would search for his father and return soon. "Sleep alone for a few nights. I promised to wait for mother to leave." But they left him sitting against the cold wall, and as time passed, his memories faded until he could hardly recall their faces. Suddenly, a blinding light shot down into the city, the shockwave hurling Chansu against the wall where he fainted. Waking with a throbbing head, he saw his phone buzzing with disaster warnings. "Reclaimer caused winds and lightning. SR rank has quit." "Quit?" Chansu cried out in shock, puzzled by what was happening. The phone spoke, showing a blond man wrapped in bandages. "In the end, I couldn't protect the god. I've lost all my teleporter friends and have no choice but to return. I no longer have the ability to continue." Subtitles flashed confirming the emergency resignation as the man begged urgently, "Please protect the Earth. Don't lose hope." Chansu couldn't believe his eyes as news scrolled that teleporters were missing and the population was under 500 million. A failed mission and a resignation notice left him staring at the phone until a knock at the door interrupted him. Wondering who would visit at this hour, Chansu opened the door to see a pale hand holding a phone. "Hey Chansu, are you home?" Seeing no one at eye level, he asked if it was a prank until a small head popped up. "It's me, Chansu Asu, down here," a talking rabbit said. "You're Chansu, right?" Chansu jumped and trembled in fear, but the bunny soothed him softly. "Calm down. I have good news for you." The rabbit held out the phone. "Congratulations. You've become a teleporter." Unable to process the nonsense of a talking rabbit, Chansu stammered, "What did you just say?" The bunny simply put a hand inside his jacket and said, "I get it, you must be confused." He produced a business card. "The truth is you, Chansu, were chosen. If you still doubt, let's go somewhere else to talk." A while later, they appeared in the basement. "Chansu, do you have any special talents?" Chansu considered special talents. The bunny walked ahead. "Most people have at least one." He followed. "You know, I don't qualify to be a teleporter." After thinking, he said, "The only thing I'm good at is mowing and trimming, no real special talent." The bunny was astonished. "Ha," he wondered. "He doesn't know." The bunny smiled and shook his head. "It's fine. Everything happens for a reason." He kept walking. "The fact that you, Chansu, were chosen won't change, so don't worry." Chansu scratched his head. "Thanks." He took in the surroundings, amazed to be inside the teleporter center. His chance had finally come. The bunny spoke. "Let's go in first and then talk." Seeing the door, Chansu marveled. "This door is huge." He placed his hand on the large door. "Will this open to a teleportation world?" Chansu tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge at all. He said helplessly, "What are you doing?" As if that door would open, the bunny scoffed. "The entrance is over here." Chansu's face twisted in disbelief. "This is the entrance?" "Yes, anything wrong seeing the tiny door?" The bunny replied calmly. Chansu was stunned. "Can't you see it? How could I fit through that door?" The bunny said nonchalantly, "I can get in." "Because you're a rabbit." He shouted in frustration. Chansu turned to leave. "What was I expecting?" "Forget it. I'm going home." The bunny's question made his steps falter. "Are you sure about that?" Each word drained color from Chansu's face. "You failed every test before and were deemed unqualified for teleport work. Do you really think an opportunity like this will come again?" The bunny continued. "Ah, don't get me wrong. I'm just repeating what they said." Chansu looked at the babbling bunny. "It would be a shame if you decide to go home. After all those trials, you're still the chosen one." Finally, Chansu bent down and squeezed through the door. He bit his lip to suppress trembling. "What am I doing? I'm not even sure." The bunny urged, "Hurry up, Chansu." Chansu replied mentally, "I'm crawling as fast as I can." The scene before him left him speechless. Chansu said, "This place looks more normal than I expected." The bunny ran to the desk. "What did you imagine it would be?" He walked toward him with the phone. "By the way, there's a world that suits you." Chansu asked curiously. "Are there worlds suited to different people?" He answered cheerfully, "Of course. It's a cubic world system called Territory Conquest." Then the bunny held up the phone. "A grand summon event named Territory Conquest is happening in the cubic world." He was astonished. "The cubic world?" The bunny's expression froze. "Don't tell me you've heard of it." Chansu laughed it off. "No, it's my first time hearing it." "That shouldn't be something strange." "Right," the bunny frowned. "Then why act like you know about it?" He beamed. "So you didn't know. Recently it's been a hot spot. The world has the unique advantage of being protected by a god." He recalled the news he'd seen. "A god? Really?" "It seemed the reclaimer in that report served a god," the bunny added. "Let me say more. This isn't related to the recent incidents. So don't worry." Chansu pointed at the emblem and asked, "So which god is this?" He explained, "By rule, the assignment of gods is completely random." Cards suddenly appeared. "But if you decide now, I'll grant you the privilege to choose." The bunny's small hand flourished. He held 3 cards. "So, what's your decision?" He hesitated. "How to say it?" Chansu pondered. "I don't even know who's better." Chansu stared at the 3 cards in the bunny's hand. He brought the cards closer. "Chansu, this is a rare case to get a choice like this, an opportunity like this, you know." Chansu recalled his father's image. He was right. "I don't know if an opportunity like this will come again. So why am I hesitating like an idiot?" After a moment's thought, he took the middle card. "I'll take this one." Chansu flipped the card over carefully. Suddenly, his face went pale. Demons poured out of the card image. He wondered what it was. Words appeared on the card, God of Negation 44%. The bunny smiled and explained, just a brief intro. Why are you so surprised? The look of horror on Chansu's face didn't fade. What kind of god has an intro like that? He thought. It's even a god of negation. The card's text hit his eyes. The god of negation, 44%. Just the name sounded bad. And the percentage was odd. Chansu scratched his head awkwardly and asked if he could redraw. The bunny offered the cards again and said, of course. He replied, thanks. He kept drawing and redrawing. No, wait, is this for real? Chansu grew impatient. This time will be the one. But the result was the same, the god of negation again. He angrily demanded, if this was a scam, why do I always get the same god? The bunny calmly said, oh, Chansu. His face turned serious. These cards have no problem at all. Do you understand? Chansu furrowed his brows. No, I didn't mean the cards are faulty. He wondered why the bunny suddenly sounded so serious. The bunny smiled slightly. Now this is your last chance, please choose carefully. Chansu extended his trembling hand. Whoever it is, please, not him. He prayed silently. Please, no. One card emitted a blinding light. Chansu's eyes sparkled. Got it. He held the drawn card. I got someone different. The goddess of prosperity. 0.0000001%. The card's effect felt faint. Chansu marveled silently. Still an extremely low probability. Super rare. A greedy expression crossed his face. The goddess of prosperity. The bunny frowned. What the hell are you imagining? That look is disgusting. After a moment of silence, he smiled again. Do you want another chance? Chansu was surprised. Didn't you say this was my last chance? He asked what would happen if he chose this card instead of explaining. The bunny said, you must depart immediately. He was stunned. Right now? He pulled back the curtain. What are you hesitating for? This is your chance to become a teleporter and later a reclaimer. The bunny's words were tempting. People will revere you. Chansu, you could even be seen as a savior. His expression shifted. Think carefully. A life completely different from what you know will open before you. Chansu swallowed. That's right. He weighed his current situation. If I stay like this, I'll be doing odd jobs for life. I have to make a decision. The system panel appeared. Congratulations. You will now serve the goddess of prosperity. The text on the system frame changed. Now your god's form will be revealed. Chansu was pulled into another dimension. Welcome. The image of a blue-haired goddess appeared, declaring him her apostle and assigning the role of teleporter. Before him now, a card glows and sparkles. Chansu looked up at it. Just now, was that the goddess of prosperity? The corner of his mouth lifted in a small smile. With that goddess beside me, I feel like I can do anything. Chansu excitedly asked. All right, where do I go now? The bunny high-fived him. Excellent choice. The black curtain behind him was swept aside. A vortex appeared. So, shall we set off? Chansu cried out. Wait. The bunny's hand pushing him froze. Is something wrong? His voice trembled. We're really going in there. It looks its mood seems off. He tried not to get angry. How can an object have a mood? The bunny's eyes shone. Look closely. Isn't it beautiful? But inside, he still felt fear. Everyone could see this was a horrifyingly dangerous black hole. Chansu forced himself calm. But I won't back down again. While he hesitated, the bunny's foot was already on his back. I'll show everyone I can do it. The bunny kicked Chansu hard into the vortex. He kept cursing. You damn rabbit. The bunny paid little heed. I'll wait for you, Chansu. A dark voice spoke. Why did you do that? He bowed respectfully. You know the rules. Direct intervention is forbidden? The voice questioned. I told you we must not lose him. Haven't you given up that god of yours? The bunny trembled in fear. Of course not. A status bar appeared before Chansu. He couldn't help but wonder, what is this? Some lines appeared. The percentage trick of a god indicates their degree of influence. Chansu was shocked. What? Fear crossed Chansu's face. That percentage isn't rarity. It's the degree of influence. From the space door, he fell onto a barren patch of land. Chansu forced himself up. Degree of influence. Only now, you tell me. Damn it. The sight before him cut his words short. Around Chansu lay desolation and ruins. Tears rolled down his face unconsciously. Damn it, he sobbed silently. I'm dead for sure. The system panel reappeared. Goddess of Prosperity 0.0000000001%. Chansu asked. So this is the Goddess of Prosperity. Where's the prosperity in this barren land? The system suddenly appeared behind him. Chansu puzzled. What's wrong with the system window? The system displayed lines. Welcome to the cubic world. The territory Conquest. Chansu, you are an important apostle. Protect as much territory as possible by conquering, Chansu said sternly. Wait, does my sect look that small? Who programmed this? He turned toward the statues. I shouldn't sit here. Let's walk around and find the goddess. Something caught Chansu's attention. This is a sickle lay on the ground. A sickle? He didn't hesitate to pick it up. Why is there a sickle here? Did someone drop it? It felt oddly familiar. Not bad. But a huge shadow appeared behind him, sending a chill down Chansu's spine, his mind filled with fear. No way. A monster? Chansu gripped the sickle tightly. Damn it. I haven't even met the goddess and already ran into a monster. I can't die here. He swung down at what he thought was the monster to scare it off. It flinched swing. The action froze for a moment, but then a pitiful figure slammed into view. Just a hamster. He bent down. Is this really a monster? It doesn't look fierce at all. A few killing glints crossed Chansu's eyes. But since it's a monster, maybe I'll get something if I catch it. The hamster tried to save itself by making strange squeaks. He stood up with the sickle. Whatever. As long as monsters don't surround me, I'm okay for now. It's kind of cute. It flipped once and landed on the ground. Seeing the hamster run off, Chansu asked, "You're leaving?" It waved for him to follow. Chansu pointed at himself. Wait, you want me to follow you? The hamster happily ran ahead and he hurried after it. Chansu panted. How can it run so fast? And where is it going? It suddenly stopped. There was a waterfall appeared before him. Water. Chansu placed a bottle into the cool stream. He and the hamster drank eagerly from the water. He felt utterly refreshed and satisfied. Chansu sat down on the grass. By the way, do you live here? This place doesn't look like hamster territory. He asked curiously if it knew where the goddess was, the goddess of prosperity. It just licked its fur without answering. Chansu sighed. Talking is pointless anyway. The hamster suddenly pointed hurriedly in one direction again. You want me to follow? It ran ahead to lead the way. Fine. Let's see where you take me this time. The hamster led him to a huge ancient tree. Chansu marveled. This tree is huge, but it's also withered. He touched the trunk lightly. It was like trees on earth. Something under the ground caught his attention. Prosperity trembled on the ground. A ginseng? Why is there ginseng here? The hamster hugged its face and screamed in panic. Chansu watched silently as it clutched the ginseng and cried. Sorry, is that ginseng your pet? The system panel suddenly appeared. Tip, you have discovered the area's god. His brows knitted. What? The another tip. Does that mean I found the goddess? Where is she after all? The hamster bit Chansu's pant leg. What's up? He picked it up. I'm busy right now. I'll play with you later. The hamster tried to say something to him. Its limbs waved about frantically. Finally, the hamster's face turned ashen. It lay motionless. Impossible. Chansu seemed to understand the hamster's meaning. Could it be? He hesitated. That shriveled ginseng. Is it the god? Chansu's voice trembled. No way. Our goddess should be full of prosperity. She can't be a withered ginseng. But seeing Prosperity's whole body emit light, he was curious. What's that green glow? Come on, it's obviously just a ginseng. Chansu fell into thought. The goddess I saw doesn't look like that at all. The mouse dragged out a magnifying glass larger than itself and trudged forward. Through the lens appeared the words, "Image for illustration only." He was stunned. What? The magnifying glass reflected the hamster's scowling face. No, my goddess. Chansu grabbed his head and sank down. Territory conquest and influence level. So, it was foreshadowing. Cold sweat ran down his face now that he remembered. And when he picked the card, the numbers kept rising. He thought it was a bug. Chansu recalled the card text. Unjust God. 44%. God of Justice 45%. He couldn't help but suspect. The higher the number, the more their territory expanded. Chansu gritted his teeth. Who knew those rising numbers were actually good cards? Thoughts circled his mind. Maybe because her territory shrank. She withered like this. Chansu bent to look at Prosperity trembling on the ground. Worry rose in him. But why hasn't the goddess woken yet? Suddenly, Chansu jolted in panic. Don't tell me I just delivered the finishing blow. He opened the water bottle. Maybe I should give her some water first. She's all wilted. Without hesitation, Chansu poured water over her. Prosperity instantly perked up. It worked. He poured the rest of the bottle over Prosperity. Drink up. Her mind kept shouting. Refreshing. Is it raining? I haven't had water in ages. Wonderful. But it's too much. Stop. That's enough. At this rate, I'll drown. I'll really die. Prosperity began to cough and splutter. Chansu smiled. She is awake. He bowed respectfully. Hello, I'm Chansu, Apostle of Prosperity. Chansu thought to himself. This is my supreme deity. She sat up and waved at him. But why couldn't she move normally? Chansu cried silently inside. I don't know what to do. The system suddenly appeared. Tip, use skills to grow stronger. He tapped the system screen. So there are skills. Blessing of Prosperity. No description, but likely helps crops grow. Chansu was curious. And this the system text changed. The Blessing of Prosperity. Behead. He was shocked. Chansu went pale. Behead. Does that mean human heads? He imagined and grew frightened. Beheading the bourgeoisie and living in prosperity. That's the meaning of prosperity. Prosperity stood on a chopping block, smiling. This world really has become more prosperous. Chansu's mind still trembled. But wait, why would the goddess of prosperity have such a brutal skill? He forced a smile. Goddess? The beheading skill isn't literal, right? She darkened her face and made a throat-cutting motion. Chansu grew even more terrified. I mean, you don't want me to go beheading people, do you? Prosperity folded her arms and nodded solemnly. He thought of something. Right. Since the goddess of prosperity is linked to agriculture, that might include slaughtering. Suddenly, he turned to the hamster. Wait, if that's true, Chansu stared at its dancing back. Don't tell me. A killing intent flashed in his eyes. That includes this kid, too. Chansu startled and turned his head. Hold on. So, that means he couldn't believe it. No way. Danger flickered in his gaze. It includes it as well. Hamdel clueless turned back innocently. In the end, Chansu had to raise the sickle. I'm sorry, he admitted. After all, I'm still an apostle. It went pale with fear. Then it ran away in a panic. Prosperity tried to step forward to protect. Chansu said, I don't want to do this either, but it's for our goddess. Handel trembled as if about to cry. Suddenly, a strange sound made him turn. What's that? The heavy crunching of footsteps approached from afar. Chansu was startled. This is real. The immortal demon was drawing very near. At that moment, Handel seemed about to faint, but it still stood its ground bravely. Then, Chansu realized, so it's not a monster after all. I was mistaken. He felt a bit afraid, too, so then he wondered inwardly if he could defeat this guy. His hand gripped the axe tightly. Chansu decided to charge forward. No, I must do it. He watched carefully and could see clearly. He had identified the spot to strike. Just then the system notified. Tip, you can activate the beheading skill. A sudden explosion sounded. Chan, who gritted his teeth and swung the axe up. Then he ran across and struck hard. Prosperity and Hamdel were terrified. The immortal demon's soul left its body. Afterwards, he ran over to check. Goddess, are you all right? Seeing the mouse, Chansu was surprised. This little guy, in that brief moment, it tried to protect the goddess. Finally, he knelt down and apologized. I'm so sorry. I made a huge mistake. His cold gaze asked. Will you forgive me? After some negotiation, the two reached an agreement. Hamdel raised its tiny thumb in confirmation. Chansu cheered. You're forgiving me. Thanks a lot, Hamdel. Seeing that bewildered face, he said, I just thought of a name for you. How about it? Chansu proposed. We'll be living together from now on. So, you need a name. The goddess and Hamdel danced together happily. A sudden notification appeared by skill effect. The head was automatically transformed Immortal Demon Hunt 1. Only then did he realize, so that's called an immortal demon. An info panel popped up. Tip offerings will be automatically bound to the goddess. As if remembering something, Chansu suddenly turned back. He also suddenly noticed. Goddess, your skin seems smoother, doesn't it? The mood brightened, too. If we keep this up, she'll soon return to her prosperous form. Thinking that, Chansu ran off excitedly. Great! I'll hunt more, goddess. Eventually, he set foot on a barren patch of land. In front of him was a pile of immortal demons. He stood, pondering for a long moment. A hint appeared. Tip, this area has unidentified points used for system world features. Not tradable between players. Chansu squinted. Points. How did I get those things? He nodded. Seems fine for now. First, we have to deal with these guys. Luckily, I have a skill strong enough and not hard to use. Another bit of luck. These mud monsters are very slow. He decided to activate the beheading skill. Tip hunt monsters to gain extra points. Chansu resolved. Great. Goal now is to catch 100 of them. At the same time, a notification appeared. Immortal Demon Hunt 4. He moved to another spot. Hamdel sat happily on his shoulder, grinning with delight. Chansu teased. Anyone seeing this would think you did it all. It teased back. Stop it. He was still a bit puzzled and asked honestly. Why call it the Immortal Demon Hunt? Immortal Demon Hunt. 101, does it seem that immortal? They die easily, he told himself. If we keep hunting, we'll find out. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. Goddess. Looking at her appearance, Chansu exclaimed, You look even more radiant than before. A calculating look crossed his face. It's working better than I thought. At this rate, she'll soon regain her true form. Chansu remembered and asked, Oh, right. What do we need to do now? Meanwhile, Prosperity was standing alone in front of a tree. He suggested, Shall I lift you up onto the tree? Immediately, she jumped into his arms. Suddenly, Prosperity beckoned. Chansu couldn't believe it. Me, too. As soon as he placed his hand, the system announced, Tip, you can use the Blessing of Prosperity skill. Tip, all blessings consume points. Thinking that, Chansu read aloud, Blessing of Prosperity. A powerful light radiated out. Handel and Prosperity were both wide-eyed. This power surprised Chansu as well. After a moment's hesitation, he thought, okay, the points I've earned from hunting. Chansu decided to invest them all here. The tree immediately stirred. The branches also changed noticeably. The trunk and foliage became plumper. Seeing the results, Chansu sighed in relief. It's done. The outcome surprised him. It was, Chansu exclaimed, an apple. He climbed up and picked an apple down. Chansu marveled. I've never seen an apple on earth like this. Are apples always this big and heavy? Inwardly, he truly wished to eat it right away. But first, Chansu knelt and offered it up. I present the first fruit to our goddess. Prosperity hugged it happily. He felt joyful, too, hoping she would soon regain her form, though. Honestly, she looked pretty cute now. Moments after holding the apple, she absorbed it dry. The large apple had shriveled to a tiny size. Chansu was startled. How did she absorb it like that? He comforted himself. Don't pay too much attention to those things about her. Chansu gathered a pile of apples and offered Hamdelui too. Thinking to himself, she gave me a fearsome skill called beheading. Better be careful. He knew he had to be cautious. But this apple is so tasty. Chansu devoured them greedily. This apple is insanely good. At the same time, Prosperity stood behind the tree observing. She wondered, what's this? By calculation, in just one day, he had hunted monsters. Moreover, he had grown a giant tree in an instant. Prosperity wondered, where on earth did this strange brat come from? Recalling, Prosperity, in charge of food, had once been a formidable force with countless high-quality agricultural products. But when disaster began devouring other factions, Prosperity was forced to flee from that overwhelming power to survive. Prosperity gave up commerce and turned to monster hunting. However, the Prosperity faction, unsuited to combat, could not win a single battle. In desperation, they transformed their basic harvest skill into beheading. But the Prosperity faction had reached the brink of destruction. Prosperity knew well that beheading wasn't an offensive skill to kill those monsters. It's a skill to collect the heads of already dead beasts or monsters. Her mood was like standing on coals. Prosperity and fighting didn't suit each other. So that was all they could do. Although she knew that. Of course, if someone had enough power, it wasn't impossible. But suddenly he raised the axe and looked at her with a dangerous gaze. She was so frightened she nearly fainted. But actually, Chansu was only asking, can I have another apple? Prosperity wondered why a child like this had come to her. No matter what happens now, or why, from now on, this child belongs to me, Chansu suddenly looked down. Goddess, Prosperity clung tightly to his leg. Thinking to herself, I want to let anyone have you. Suddenly, he wondered, surely she's not trying to absorb me, is she? The day had shifted to late afternoon. Chansu carried back a whole basket of apples. He cradled her in his arms. The goddess had fallen asleep. She must be very tired. Then he gently set Prosperity down. Chansu softly praised, you've worked hard today. Suddenly, thunder and lightning rolled in. Seeing that he panicked, why has a clear sky suddenly turned to thunder and lightning? Hope I don't startle the goddess awake. Another side issue occurred. After stuffing himself with apples, his stomach still couldn't be filled by apples alone. Chansu clutched his stomach and ran to the notice board. It read that a delivery event was ongoing. He was surprised. Delivery. Looking at the item in his hand, he guessed, maybe because so much is being sent from Earth, this event exists. A colony occupation event is happening, plus several other events. Knowing that, shouldn't they know where to deliver if they want to ship things? As if remembering, Chansu asked, you must be tired. Shall we sleep? He gathered leaves to cover Prosperity. Tucking the blanket in sleep now, goddess. At the reincarnation temple, Sujin was running at full speed. Her face was very grim. In the office, Wuhan was still handling work. Quietly, she pushed the door and entered. He trembled and asked, hey, what about the orders? Why are you here? Sujin coldly said, Senior, are you joking with me? Wuhan still pretended not to understand. I don't know what you're talking about. But calm down first, Sujin shouted. I'm already swamped with my own work. Don't be unreasonable. Her next words stabbed at him like a knife. A restricted area. A 3-day, Twite business trip. You know we won't get a penny from this free delivery event. Do you live on apples or what? They don't even have money. Are they trading with apples? Finally, she concluded. Did I do something wrong? Wuhan shook his head. No, not at all. After being questioned, he regained his authority. In fact, he said their junior was just overly enthusiastic about the job, Wuhan explained calmly. I love the work, too. But if you keep doing overtime like this every day, your body won't hold up. Even if it's called a business trip, you should rest. Then he patted her shoulder to comfort her. If you stay here, you'll finish this task and immediately be sent to another. Go cool your head or something. Sujin snapped impatiently. I know it's because no one else wanted this assignment, and now he's pretending. Oh, great, caught red-handed. Who knows, maybe she'd get lucky and find some hidden territory. She shot back bitterly. What territory? I'd freeze to death. After seeing her off, Wuhan seemed cheerier. Travel safely. Who knows, something might happen after you return. Goodbye. Sujin ignored him. Fine, I'm leaving now. She scrolled down to check the list again. At a glance, Sujin wondered why the order list was so long. If she's going to a prohibited zone, she should have prepared in advance. She resolved that she wouldn't return empty-handed this time. She wouldn't let it slip in the forest. Chansu was still gathering apples. Hide well, I can see your hair. Hummel, hiding in a corner, called out. He warned. Hold still, he warned. I can hear your laughter, though he already knew. Chansu pretended to be mysterious. Hey, where are you hiding? Could it be behind these apples? In an instant, the kid was caught. He scooped Handel up and spun him around. Got you, you little rascal. In a slightly reproachful tone, he said, Didn't I tell you not to steal apples? It doesn't help anything, Chansu sternly scolded. I'll remind you, these apples aren't for eating, they're for trading. If you keep this up, what am I supposed to do at the meeting today? He sighed in frustration. They've come all this way. I can't make a bad impression at the first meeting. According to Chansu's memory and the info he got when signing up for deliveries, this world, true to its name, has different territories divided into blocks. A cube world event colony occupation is underway, though they look like ordinary lands. The world's edges have walls, and to move to another block, you need a periodic travel pass. Around him, there was literally nothing. Even the nearest village was a week's travel away. Lately, I've hardly been eating anything but apples. Chansu was pretty surprised. Who would have thought delivery would only take about 2 days? He lay flat on the ground. He didn't know how they did it, but whatever. He just hoped the sleeping bag would arrive soon and a bed would be even better. Suddenly remembering, Chansu boasted. I even ordered a pillow for the goddess. Actually, the action came from worry. To avoid becoming a dried-up corpse, I need to gain as much favor as possible. All was calm when a sound came from outside. He tightened his grip on the axe. Surprisingly, they even delivered monsters. A group of immortal demons slowly crawled forward. Chansu smirked. They'd been appearing on their own since yesterday. He nodded. So, they really were undead monsters, as rumored, or more precisely, resurrected creatures. Regardless, Chansu dismissed it. Whatever they are, kill them first. He raised the axe, ready to attack. Then he swung down hard. He single-handedly dealt with that disgusting horde. Suddenly, Hamel screamed pitifully. Its hands reached out. But luckily, he managed to block that blow. Chansu assessed quickly. As expected, their movements are somewhat faster. Monsters can level up like skills. Despite that, he kept trying anyway. Those impacts only had a very small effect on him. Each shell of the immortal demon was chopped to pieces. He casually admired his handiwork up above. Sujin's eyes widened in surprise. She exclaimed, This is insane. What's in front of me? What on earth is that? This shock was huge for Sujin. What is this? Immortal demons used to be the top hunting target because they gave huge points compared to other monsters. But no matter how many times you killed them, they'd revive the next day. They're relentless in pursuing a target time and again. Even if you moved to another block, they'd curse the chosen target and wear them down. Now they'd become monsters everyone avoided. But clearly, they had just been wiped out easily. She wondered who that madman could be. She couldn't help worrying. Isn't he afraid of what those things bring? He doesn't even seem to intend to remove the curse, as if remembering something. Sujin cried out. Could he be a sword master? But that action puzzled her. Why would a sword master be picking apples? That didn't look like a sword, though. After some thought, Sujin decided it's best not to provoke him. Who knows what would happen if she accidentally angered him. Meanwhile, Chansu was resting to recover. The notification made him grin. Points increased again. Last time it went up 95%. So now another increase is 10%. By calculation, since each apple with a blessing costs 1000 points, I'll probably get 100 today. He glanced at the pile of harvested apples. He'd wondered why there was a shrine here. Isn't this a point mining block? At the same time, Sujin also landed here. She bowed politely. Excuse me a moment. Oh, Chansu. Then she introduced herself. Nice to meet you. I'm Jesus Jean from the Trading and Transport Company. Your order has arrived. He was surprised. She recognized me at a glance. Outwardly, she made an excuse. But inwardly, she prayed, you stand out too much. He treats immortal demons like toys. Can't he let his guard down? Sujin knew well not to let her guard down. Just then, her gaze fell on Hamdal. What is that soft fluff? Instantly, she felt an urge she couldn't contain. I want to touch it. I want to touch it. Repeated. Chansu wondered. Are you feeling unwell? Sujin regained her professionalism. No, I'm fine. She suppressed the urge. I really want to touch it. Chansu took the lead. Shall we go? Did I call the wrong number? As for Sujin, she only wished she could pinch it. She trailed after him to the pile of freshly picked apples. A pleasant aroma spread. Sujin praised. The scent of these apples is lovely. He boasted. They grew very well standing on the ground and looking up. The apple tree was truly enormous. She was still bewildered. Is this really an apple tree? The size of it. To break the awkwardness, he asked. Do you want to try one? Sujin was startled. Really? The apple in her hand gave off something strange beyond the tree. Yet, it truly looked like an ordinary apple. She tried to convince herself that usually large fruits aren't very sweet. Maybe it's just appearances. After one bite, the flavor surprised her. Sujin exclaimed, what is this? This taste is so sweet. The flavor made her eat greedily. It wasn't just sweet. The balance of acidity and sweetness was perfect. She even priced it. With this flavor, it should be worth 50,000. Wait, maybe as much as 100,000 gold coins. Suddenly, Sujin frowned and asked, oh, Chansu, you said the price per apple was 2,000, right? He replied, yes. She waved that off. On second thought, that price seems unreasonable. Chansu scratched his head, embarrassed. Was the price too high? Market prices seemed lower, he asked again. Then what price should it be? Seeing her show the number 2, Chansu stammered. 200. That price still seems a bit. She suddenly cut in. 20,000, you should take at least 20,000 gold coins per apple. At that price, both were shocked. 20,000 gold. Gez. Sujin uked mischievously. If sold to department stores, it could go for 30,000 gold. He couldn't believe it. So expensive. Apples selling that high at department stores. She felt she could hide the real price, but she wouldn't betray a potential customer. Actually, there was another reason Sujin acted this way. But on the other hand, she also valued life highly, she asserted suddenly. This is no ordinary apple. Sujin bet that this delicious product is the best fruit she's ever tasted in her life. From her point of view, she thought this apple more precious than any specialty. After the discussion, she drew up a contract, then set the provisional price at 20,000 gold coins per apple without me noticing. Sujin had already prepared everything. Now, let's sign the contract for the rest. Chansu hesitantly took the pen. He read each clause carefully. Then, he gave a small smile. Finally, he said, fine, but one clause needs to be adjusted. Sujin hesitated a bit and said, it seems you wrote it wrong. He didn't pay much attention and said, our shares have increased with a bright face. She said, I want a long-term partnership with good people. You were honest about these apples' value from the start. Right. This surprised Sujin for a moment. In the end, she just sighed. Both sides began cooperating. Thanks for signing the contract. Sujin bowed and took out the goods. Let me deliver the items you ordered. She pulled out a pile of goods. These are various seeds. The food and farming tools you ordered. Besides, here are the pet slave eggs. They're a complimentary gift from the Trading and Transport Company for completing the delivery and will be useful for cultivation. Her gaze had been fixed on Hamel. Since you already have one, you probably don't need another. It's so cute. He was startled and accepted it. Me raise a pet slave. Sujin pointed at it and asked, "Isn't that little thing a pet slave? It looks friendlier than usual." "Sorry if I'm mistaken." Chansu waved it off. "It's fine, I understand." She added that the more blessing points you apply, the stronger the pet slave will be. But if you overdo it, the egg may crack, so be careful. A warning was given. If the egg shakes violently, stop. He nodded. "I'll test it myself to learn as if remembering." Sujin asked, "By the way, do you know how to harvest apples in the harvest time?" Chansu honestly replied, "I'll plant other trees, too, so it's about 30 apples a day." She gasped. Every day. So, the two sides happily cooperated. Then, we adjusted food supply schedules, quantities, and visit times, and we'll rent a storage room first. After finalizing details, the first transaction was completed. After they left, Chansu went to check on Thinvo. "You must be tired from hiding." "Right," he breathed a sigh of relief. "Good thing I hid you before hunting. She seems nice, but it's better to be cautious." "Do you like her?" he also praised. "If selling apples can bring this much money, it's all thanks to our goddess." Suddenly, Chansu looked elsewhere. He saw Thin Vwang carefully cradling the egg Sujin had given earlier. Knowing she liked it, he calculated that to bless this pet egg, he'd need to earn more points. Checking again, I need to increase regular customers. The current number is a bit low. But what appeared on the screen exceeded expectations. Immortal Demon 101. Vote for your monster. He smiled, his mood lightened somewhat. "With this bargain, things will go smoother than I thought. There will be more work from now on." But Chansu resolved, "I'm not afraid." For him, this was the opposite. He was actually very excited. At this time, Sujin had already taken the apples back to headquarters. Wuhan wondered, a cult disciple or a believer? "He must be from the Alchemy Guild," she hastily clarified. "He's Korean, probably from a war or violent sect, or he might even be independent." Staring at the apple for a long time, he mused that all disciples are Korean, so there's no doubt. But can someone capable of growing this food come from a combat sect? Recalling it, Sujin shivered. He beheaded immortal demons with a rusty sickle, maybe 100 monsters. Wuhan suspected he might be training for a sword contest without proper gear. Like Rohan, he nodded. "Prevention is better than cure." She agreed. "I concur." A business idea popped into Wuhan's head. "Let's sell these apples to department stores. They'll fetch a high price out of the blue." She suddenly grabbed his wrist. He squinted, confused. "What are you doing? Why are you touching me?" Her face stern, she scolded. "You alone ate this whole pile." Wuhan immediately retorted. "I'm your superior," Sujin argued back. "But I brought them back. They're mine." Night fell. Chansu tried to channel energy into the egg. "I wonder what will hatch, cute or hardworking." He chuckled to himself. Of course, both would be ideal. Right. The egg finally cracked. "Oh, it's cracking." Everyone's faces lit with eager anticipation. "Hurry up and come out." "An SSS grade pet slave," he cried out happily. "It's out." A part of it. The tiny beak was adorable. Then a small wing poked out. The result? A chick. Chansu froze. A chick. He couldn't believe it. The chick was a bit big, but still just a normal chicken. "Right, I was hoping for something more useful watching them play." Chansu sighed. "Guess we'll raise it until it's grown, then eat it." Resigned. He thought, "It's been a while since I had chicken meat." One chicken is worth 120,000 points. Given the situation, he decided not to get attached and named it on the spot. "From now on, you're Ari and I'm Chansu." Ari, given its name, chirped loudly. Another egg showed signs of cracking. He excitedly said, "Wow, the other one is hatching, too." His mood improved a bit. This time, it should hatch something more useful. A brilliant light shone forth. Finally, the egg hatched into a piglet. Chansu fell into despair. "Your name is Doji. Why do they keep hatching livestock?" He felt furious. So-called pet slaves. What a scam. Standing before him, the two proudly introduced themselves. Chirp, 10th vassal. Chick, greetings to the goddess of prosperity. 12th vassal. Piglet, greetings to the goddess of prosperity. Thin Vang looked at them tenderly. "It's been a long time. Forgive me in the end. I couldn't protect you." The boy quickly brushed it off. "Please don't say that." Chirp, Chirp. We should be the ones apologizing for failing to serve you. Doji added. We will do everything we can to restore your magnificent form. Her eyes welled with tears. I am truly grateful, but there's one thing you must remember. She also warned to be careful around my disciple. He doesn't know you are my vassals, and if he finds you useless, he might sell you off. Thin Vangu even threatened that he might even eat you. How should we cook you, too? So she instructed them carefully. Try to appear as useful as possible before he truly understands you. Doji, snot and tears running, asked. Did he really say that? Chirp. A disciple. He looks nearly dead. Ari sneered. Chirp. Let's just observe him for now. The next morning, Chansu began stretching his limbs after a long sleep. He said excitedly. It's time to start a new day. No sooner had he finished than Chansu swept away the immortal demons. Good morning, heads and all. At the same time, Ari sleepily came out. Why so noisy this early? Doji followed. Chirp, chop, carve the meat. But the sight before them left everyone stunned. The boy panicked. What's happening? Beheading? Is that a skill? Deuce eyes reined at the edge, undeterred. Chansu handled everything alone. Decisive slashes cut through. The two kids froze solid at the sight. The fragments of the immortal demons littered the ground. At this point, Ari had to admit, thinking it over. It seemed the disciple licked his lips. When looking at us, Doji startled. Chirp. Really? Their minds began to run wild. Maybe it's been a while since we've had chicken. Chirp. He really will eat us. At the same time, the system announced Immortal Demon Hunt 202. With everything done, he breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, they're all defeated. Suddenly, Chansu noticed some strange sounds. Turning around, he saw them and they cheered. When did you come out? Ari replied quickly. Sure, chirp, the boy added. Sure, our beloved disciple, you've worked hard. You must be tired, disciple. Good morning, the boy even ordered. Chirp, chirp, smile for us. He smiled at that and said, thanks, you did well. Chansu remembered. Under the canopy of the tree, he cut an apple and offered it. Here, want some? The gluttonous boy rushed over. Yes, yes, Ari hurriedly warned. Slow down, pig. We can't look like two food grinding machines. Seeing that, he praised. You eat well. Eat more so you grow faster. Doji exclaimed. Chirp, it's delicious. But the next remark froze them. I hear pork raised from youth is trendy. I wonder if raising you on fruit would taste better. Ari dashed over to stop it. Don't eat him, pig. You'll turn into apple-flavored smoked meat. Chansu brought another plate of apples and asked, Ari, do you want some, too? The boy sniffed the aroma this sent. He must have spent at least 500 points to get this. Is he crazy? An ordinary disciple only makes about that in a day, but he still pretended to refuse. Chirp, I won't be fooled. He wondered, you don't like apples? Chansu added more food. Or have some cereal? Ari insisted. I'm not like that pig. I'll never become fried chicken. In the end, the boy gave up. Chansu concluded that Ari is picky, unlike Doji. Next was, Chansu's 5-minute farming class. Let Doji wallow in mud and have Ari plant black beans, cover with soil, water it, then add a little blessing of prosperity. Come on, easy, right? Our goddess is the best. That's the plan. All right, perfect. But the look behind startled him. Chansu was surprised. Do chickens like shiny things? They're not ravens. But he dismissed it. No, wait. The first harvest must be offered to the goddess. Chirp. After all, my cravings won. Ari told himself. I'm surely doomed. Seeing that Chansu relaxed. He remembered. Right, the apples start selling today. Wonder if they'll sell at the department store. Everything was prepared. Wuhan calculated. Okay, everything's ready. Only the apples are missing, right? Seeing the line, he sighed with relief. Business is good today. However, just as he thought, no one was buying. The display included gold dust, winter feathers, royal skin apples priced at 200,000 gold. We named them royal apples and packaged them to look as flashy and luxurious as possible, but everyone doubted. Royal apples. What apple is worth that? Honestly, he worried that the price shocked people. Feeling uneasy. We can't offer samples. Is there no way to let them taste it? If they could try, they might change their minds. Suddenly, a voice announced, "Thank you for your purchase." No one could believe their ears. What's happening? Did he buy them all? Really? Wuhan rushed through the crowd. What's all this noise? An employee hurried out to brag. Senior, look. The royal apples are all sold. The stall was empty in no time. He was puzzled. What? There were plenty just minutes ago. They recounted that he tasted one apple and then bought them all. Murmurs spread. The receipt bore the signature. Rohan. Hey, is that Rohan? He had a bag of apples on his back. He seems famous. I'm new here, so I don't really know. Wuhan was shocked hearing the name. Rohan. Really? Lan, the pioneer who trains regardless of obstacles. The unrivaled swordmaster. Someone like him bought all these apples. His chance had come. This was the golden spoon, so to speak. Wuhan excitedly. This is hot news. I thought it'd be widely discussed. Headline, symbol of willpower, sword master. Rohan eighth is to become a master. Netsons claim his daily training food is now on the market. Why write things like that? Some clickbait rumors got out of hand. What? You can't become a swordmaster just by eating an apple every day. Why write that? It has nothing to do with us. Phone started ringing non-stop. He answered immediately. This is Rea Wuhan from the trading company. On hearing the message, Wuhan was stunned. No. Who suddenly ordered 100 boxes of apples? That's not easy to prepare. As for Chansu, I've been in this world a week and living quite prosperously. He cheerfully messaged everyone. Feed everyone first, then start preparing for myself. All ingredients had been carefully prepared. Looking at the pile of ingredients, Chansu was pleased. These are almost as good as apples. When done, he peeled them, then chopped them into small pieces. He also showcased skilled cooking techniques that left everyone wide-eyed. Doji couldn't help but inch closer. He warned hurriedly. I'm not making this for you. Okay, you just ate, but the boy looked so pitiful. At this point, he gave in. Fine, eat this. From afar, Sujin ran over, calling, partner. Oh, Chansu, he greeted politely. You're here. She excitedly said that all of Chang's attendants had bloomed. Triple the cuteness. Everyone gathered. We mustn't let the goddess interact with strangers. Protect her. Chansu suddenly remembered. Right, what brings you here? She rummaged in her bag. I have good news. Want to hear it? Sujin produced the figures proudly. Don't be shocked. All those batches sold for 200,000 gold each. And they sold out for 2 days straight. He couldn't believe it. 200,000 gold per apple. 2 days in a row, she recounted proudly. It's been chaotic lately due to shortages. He thought to himself quietly. Apples here aren't that expensive. Are there really that many rich people? Clearly, this is a good business opportunity. My current share is 30%. So, selling one apple nets about 60,000 gold. If I sell 50 a day, that's 3 million gold per day. By that calculation, annual revenue would be 1 billion. Thinking that made Chansu drool. His spirits felt like they were hanging upside down on a tree. If that were true, he could even find information about his parents. He asked quickly. The department store tax is quite high. Since she sold such a valuable item, I'll negotiate to reduce taxes as much as possible. I don't want to dampen this. Honestly, Chansu was still uneasy. She wondered how long royal apples would stay popular. Honestly, they're very famous now, but selling them at 200,000 gold each is tough. Sujin replied bluntly that it's a concern, but even with 1 million potential customers and selling 100 units a day, it would take 27 years during which repeat customers would form. Why would you? He was surprised. Isn't that potential customer base huge? She nodded. Compared to Earth's standards, it's huge. But the current market size is like China used to be. So don't worry. Sujin suddenly reached out and clasped his hand. So partner Chansu, Aren't you planning to increase apple production? He awkwardly withdrew his hand. I also grow other crops. Maybe try selling those first. They taste almost as good as the apples. She went wild as soon as he finished speaking. Something as good as apples. He hurriedly stopped her. Wait, my blood's not circulating. Chansu said sheepishly. Sorry to keep you waiting first of all. Sujin's expression was very satisfied. He introduced, let's try the boiled potatoes first. Enjoy. She peeled off the outer skin, then took a big bite. The flavor exploded so sweet and a bit of salt made a harmonious sweet-salty taste. By review. The potato skin smelled nutty and delicious and its texture was perfectly fluffy. Chansu brought out several more dishes. Good. The reaction is very positive. I also prepared pancakes and fries at the site. Sujin began to drool. She hurriedly picked up a big piece. The taste was so good it made her want to cry. It's amazing. These dishes are restaurant quality. Her heart melted. These potatoes could be a main dish. Not a side. Chansu scratched his head. Lucky they suit her taste. The best part was the finale. Doji's favorite roasted sweet potato. On hearing that, Sujin screamed in excitement. Doji from afar protested. Give me more. Give me more. He hurriedly brought it out. All right, let's share. Why do you look so thin? Did you save Ari's portion? Doji Hamdel also edged closer. Seeing that, she exclaimed. So cute, so fluffy, Chansu suggested. How about I sell this dish, too? Sujin cleared her throat and said she loved the meal. But could he develop this crop alongside apple production? He answered honestly that without more points, it would be difficult. He couldn't spend all his points on farming. She immediately grew serious. Then thanks for what you've prepared, but focus on growing apples. Sujin shared that all her disciples are from Korea and that global culture has been strongly influenced. She was surprised such tasty dishes existed. Moreover, crops are hard to sell at high prices even with demand. Profits won't match apples. Finally, she bowed and asked, Chansu, apple demand will surely rise. Sorry to say this, but consider my position, too. She felt guilty. High department store taxes. He'd worked to harvest these crops and even fed her. Was she too harsh? This is bad, he quickly asked. Will 100 apples be enough? She got excited. What? Chansu repeated. I'll supply 100 apples every day. She seemed moved to tears. Really? He just smiled instead of speaking. You don't have to insist on the harder path, but it's worth trying since you enjoyed the food. Hamdel held in her arms was still trying to wriggle free. Sujin beamed. Thank you, partner, Chansu. The next day arrived. Chansu left early for work. Doji wondered if it was okay. They always followed him. Ari snapped. Shoo, don't be stupid. The kid yelled. Shoo. We have to watch him so someone can work. We can't let the dumb hamster do it all. He wondered too why they always followed him. Maybe they actually like fighting. Surely attendants like them aren't worthless and just eating. But before long, they caused trouble. Drawing the immortal demons after them, he sighed in frustration. What had he expected? Luckily, these demons move very slowly. It almost grabbed Doji. The boy looked up in fear. He shouted urgently, What are you doing? Run, you idiot. We're doomed. I'm too far away. Chansu dashed over like flying. Get away, Doji. He ran with all his speed. The distance was now too short. Ari also screamed in fear, but then something unexpected happened. The two kids were safe. Chansu was surprised. That thing was surely short range. But the skill's range has widened. He couldn't believe it had his skill upgraded. By calculation, if I pay attention to the position and angle of the crescent blade, and also control the speed like just now, then the system quickly notified. Skill mass decapitation activated. The range of decapitation has widened. The message confused him. Mass decapitation. What kind of name is that? Then he realized it was because the usable range had increased. The corner of his mouth twitched. So now I can increase my number of regulars. With that, a series of attacks were launched. Ari and Doji hurried back to report. Goddess Prosperity. Goddess, there's an emergency. Prosperity turned to ask, what's so urgent? Ari anxiously recounted. Shoo. That disciple started decapitating 5 or 6 at once. Their voices grew excited. Stronger than before is good. But shouldn't we value communication skills more? She quickly soothed them. Calm down. I never allowed that skill to be used, but it's impossible. The kid yelled. Shoo. I'd rather have proper food than risk being eaten by him. Doji added. He calls it mass decapitation. Did you permit that skill? My lord, Prosperity found it hard to believe. Decapitation. She herself trembled. What is this? It's terrifying. Ari panicked and shouted that being stronger is good. But shouldn't we value communication skills more? Prosperity tried to calm them. Calm down. I never allowed that skill, but the kid kept yelling that he'd rather have proper meals than risk being eaten by him. Doji also interjected. He calls it mass decapitation. Did you allow that skill to be used? She frowned in confusion. Decapitation. What? Imagining that made Prosperity shiver and whisper. What is that? It's terrifying. She guessed she had never heard of such a skill. Could he really be human? Maybe his true identity is a death god from hell. A thought suddenly flashed through Prosperity's mind. Ha! Wait. Then she said, Children, I think I understand what's happening. The boy eagerly interrupted. Just as I thought you got a skill, right, goddess? Ari angrily cut in. You idiot. Sit down. The kid turning back to ask. So what happened? Prosperity stammered praise. The apostle's skill seems to have developed on its own. She returned to the main point. As you know, decapitate is a reworked harvesting skill. Remember when that skill evolved and allowed harvesting an entire field? Prosperity explained in detail. Similarly, the decapitation skill likely evolved into mass decapitation. Both trembled at this. Ari wondered, isn't that something only a first-year apostle could do? She replied, that's why the kid is scary. Prosperity hesitated a moment, then added. And she said softly. He's a very grateful child. Prosperity spoke gently. Maybe his growth rate is alarming. But thanks to him, we can speak like this. She patted the boy's head comfortingly. When the apostle returns, I'll grant him communication skills. So, don't worry, Ari whispered shyly. I'm sorry for showing you my bad side. At that moment, Chansu waved and ran over. Prosperity waved back. Thinking privately, she didn't know what to say first, but wanted to speak with the apostle soon. She told herself to introduce her 2 attendants first. He exclaimed in surprise, Huh? System notice. Goddess Prosperity has granted the apostle a new skill. Prosperity reminded herself. Limiting the apostle's potential violates the world's laws. She thought they therefore have the right to decide for themselves. You're given 2 choices. System notice. Choose a skill. Prosperity's promise. Communication. Prosperity hesitated slightly. Of course. If you're truly my apostle, you'd pick communication. Also, tell the boy to avoid fighting. It's dangerous. Chansu mumbled in confusion. A new skill, she decided inwardly, and Prosperity looked at him with shining eyes. First, I'll thank the boy. She mentally thanked him. Thank you for choosing me. System notice. Skill selection complete as displayed. You have chosen the skill. Prosperity's promise. Prosperity sprayed glue awkwardly, freezing with a stiff face. She froze and cried out, Ha! He hesitated, pondering the cause of the incident. And this new skill system. Choose a skill. Prosperity's promise. Communication. Chansu began to analyze. Prosperity's promise. I don't know what that does. Communication must let me talk to animals and plants. Right. He imagined Ari screaming in a hot pot. How could you do that to us? I trusted you. I thought we were family. I'll take revenge. I'll gut you until my beak cracks. The dry tree complained. Chansu, have you ever tried producing 100 apples a day? My shoulders are about to fall off, Chansu thought in panic. Probably not necessary. Just imagining it is horrible, he told himself. There's a saying, ignorance is bliss. I would never choose communication. Finally, Chansu made his decision. System skill selection complete. Everyone slumped. He muttered guilty. Why does everyone suddenly look so down? Next, Chansu excitedly thought, let's see what this skill does. Notification. Skill, decapitate. Prosperity's promise, he sighed inwardly. Just as I thought. No description. One promise to Goddess Prosperity. Chansu picked up a large apple. He decided, I'll offer the apple to the goddess. Chansu eagerly presented the apple, calling out, Goddess, here. But Prosperity turned away. He called again in surprise. Goddess system notice points used while activating the skill are being aggregated and refunded. He wondered why she seemed sulky. Konu checked the system and calculated. I hadn't eaten yet and gave it to her first. So it should count if I keep the promise. I'll get points back. It feels like a quest for me. He suddenly declared. This time I'll pinch Ham's cheek again after being hit by Hamdoll. Chansu laughed and teased. May try once more. Chansu continued. I'll fill Doji's belly, Ari cried in alarm. Dante tell me, but he just handed the food to the boy and added full now. Doji gratefully. This is delicious. Then Chansu asked puzzled. Why didn't the points return? Is it a bug? He exclaimed in surprise. Don't tell me he's still not full. I fed him 10 apples already. Next, Chansu stood up and quickly let it go. Whatever. This is getting more lost than gain. It's a pity not to use it, but there's no other way. Suddenly, Sujin rushed over, calling loudly. Partner, Chansu, he calmly asked. You're back after just one day. What's wrong? She panted. Now is not the time to talk. Then Sujin ordered. You must quickly seize and defend this block. Chansu was stunned and awkwardly asked. Why are we under attack? She interrupted. Maybe Sujin explained. The royal apple's popularity surged so much we had to limit sales per person, yet 5,000 people pre-ordered. He stammered in shock. 5,000 people. She lamented helplessly. They don't care when they'll receive it. Just deliver whenever it's available. Sujin expressed worry. That's why fake raids targeting these apples will flood in. But this area is outside jurisdiction, so crimes can't be prevented. It would be different with backing. But Chansu thought inwardly. Backing? My backing is. He looked at Prosperity and wondered, is it only the demigoddess? Chansu calculated silently. If I lose, not only the goddess, but this prosperity will end, she added. At minimum, you must seize the blocks and install more gates, he proposed. Let me capture surrounding blocks and create a hidden base that will bring us closer to Hujin. Sujin agreed. Good idea. If we seize more blocks and add gates, the travel pass limits will. Chansu crossed his arms and sighed. By the way, why are there so many pre-orders? This is weird. 5,000 people without telling me, she replied. You didn't know, Sujin explained. All the blocks are in chaos because of the royal apples, he pressed. What effects? What do you mean? She recounted. Rumors say eating royal apples speeds skill acquisition, cures all illnesses, prevents evil influence, makes skin jade smooth, banishes fatigue, whitens teeth, purges toxins, slims the body, and improves memory. Chansu cried out in shock. Are you kidding me? Why not just call them an elixir of immortality? Sujin deflated. So it's not true. I thought there might be some effect, he muttered. How could all that be possible? Chansu dodged the topic and changed the subject. First, we must quickly seize the blocks, and she interrupted. Partner. Oh, Chansu, Sujin pleaded with shining eyes. But it's not real. Really? He flatly dismissed. No way. It's just some apples at the hospital. The atmosphere was very peaceful. Lone walked slowly down the corridor. A reporter sneaked close, whispering excitedly. Who's that? Looks like I hit the jackpot today. Light streamed through the window pane into the room. The person in the hospital bed spoke gently. Finally, you're here. It's Hon, the great alchemist. He set a gift box on the table and said, Get well, gift, he added. You know what's hot today? Right, Chansu exclaimed in surprise. Those apples? Lone asked. Those apples? He explained. The ones you bought a pile of after finding something strange. Everyone's buzzing about them out there. He denied it. Nonsense. And Sue smiled while peeling an apple. Knew you'd say that. He calmly put a slice of apple into his mouth. Immediately, Chansu gasped. Holy crap! Is this the ultimate balance of explosive flavor and pure nutrition? He wondered if other apples were as good and if there's much difference. Lone replied calmly. Am I some cooking god? Evaluated in a low voice. Even with your agility, you can't know how they grew. These apples, special fertilizers aside, it's hard to boost flavor across every fruit. He kept eating, prompting Rohan to snap. You idiot! You finished the gift you bought me. How will you make it up? Lone reminded nonchalantly. Then eat quickly. Angrily decided. I'm not short on time or money. I'll just buy them myself. The line replied, Sir, we're sorry, but orders are overloaded. He refused and insisted. You still have plenty. Right, Chansu demanded persistently. Sell to me. I'll pay double. No, triple, he sneered teasingly. I have both money and time, he grumbled. You damn name. Somewhere in a corner, someone quietly took photos. Annoyed, threw a pillow at Rohan and demanded, Are you still my friend? You bastard. He dodged easily and replied indifferently. Who's to blame for you not eating? Breaking news. Great alchemist Hong recovered immediately after eating a royal apple. Royal apples may cure alchemy side effects. Wuhan complained wearily. I'm busy to death with these fake rumors. Seeing the news, he slammed the table and shouted. Are you kidding me? Wuhan hissed angrily. Why are people pouring fuel on the fire? This isn't an immortality potion. Chansu softly called. Goddess, he gently announced. I need to gather the surrounding blocks. So, I'll leave tonight. Chansu also reminded. Doji Arii, you two protect the goddess. Please. Prosperity stood stunned, thinking, he's leaving just for a new skill. It's not even a combat skill. She hurried over to his side. Prosperity kept hitting Chansu's leg inwardly begging, don't go. It's dangerous. But he didn't understand and called out, Goddess. Suddenly, Chansu thought, wait, he realized, so, the time has finally come. Chansu nodded and decided. I need to get some protein to eat. The food we have now is okay. But he looked at the kid and the boy, hesitating. I don't want to eat meat in front of them. But Chansu smiled and asked, beef is okay, right? If the goddess wants it, you two have to understand. Then he quickly walked into the storeroom. Chansu hurriedly rummaged through the cabinet, his eyes sparkled, his face full of happiness. Chansu cheered. Found it. The beef I ordered, he exclaimed excitedly. So this is beef on Earth. Only lab-grown beef exists. I have only seen this in pictures. Chansu deftly lit the stove. As the meat hit the pan, a scent rose up, he noted with satisfaction. It smells even better than lab-grown beef. Doji drooled too. Chansu stopped him. No, this is for the goddess. Ari scolded. Hey, you pig. You just ate and you want more. Right, goddess. But seeing her expression, he panicked. She's still not full. Ari hurriedly told Chansu. Disciple. The goddess seems a bit hungry. Check it, he replied. Ha, almost ready. Wait a bit, goddess. Then Chansu cut a piece and held it out to Prosperity. Here, first piece for you. Careful. It's hot. Prosperity coldly refused and threw it to the ground. Inwardly shouting, that's not it. I want you not to go outside. But he didn't get it and sadly asked, is the meat bad? You're not angry, right? I just bought it. Then Chansu took a piece for himself. Let me try it. He put it in his mouth and evaluated. Seriously, it's good. Quite tasty. But it feels a bit, Chansu thought to himself. Lacking something. The seasoning doesn't burst like when eating the apple. He looked back at her and realized the problem. Ah, so that's why the goddess refused to eat. Chansu misunderstood, thinking she disliked the taste. But Prosperity was secretly begging. Don't go. You mustn't go. Don't go. You mustn't go. Don't go. You mustn't go. He dropped to one knee and smiled gently at her. Chansu comforted. I'll find you something tastier. Wait a bit. Doji and Ari heard this and were terrified. At 11:59 p.m., the boy talked in his sleep. One more piece. Another piece. The kid objected. No, you can't eat more. You won't be able to stop. Only Thin Fuang hasn't slept. She fell silent, her face full of worry. Elsewhere. In the quiet space, he stood in the middle of a vacant lot. Chansu watched for a moment before speaking. So this is the boundary of the block. Like a blue curtain blocking the view, he remarked. From afar, it looked endless. So this is the boundary of the block. Notice board. Move to block 35N. 10E, he cheered himself on. Let's go. Notice board. Loading tip. Passage tickets reset daily at midnight. He was pleasantly surprised and grateful that passing blocks awarded tips, too. How thoughtful. Suddenly, the light went out. Chansu muttered in frustration. Why did my light go off now? He had to fumble along in the dark for a while. Later, when the lights came back on, a forest appeared before him. Chansu exclaimed in surprise. A forest? He looked around and noted. This place looks completely different from where I was. Suddenly, a dark shape swept past. Chansu only had time to shout. Then a swarm of insects flew over. He asked curiously, what is that? Before he finished speaking, seeing a swarm of beetles, he ran away in fear. Chansu turned pale and exclaimed, so many bugs. He raised his weapon and killed a few. They looked tiny. Chansu shouted helplessly that he couldn't decapitate them with his blade. He cursed inwardly. I have to get back. Chansu reached out toward the boundary. Suddenly, a horde of immortal demons poured out. He asked confusedly. Ha? Why are these immortal demons here? Don't tell me you came to protect me. It blushed shyly and confessed. We are the only ones allowed to defeat you. So, for now, we'll side with you. Chansu kept running, shouting, that's right. When he looked back, he suddenly realized that when the immortal demons appeared, the beetles had vanished. Chansu turned to face the insect swarm. He shouted, this is my chance. Chansu hurled himself forward, swinging his weapon to destroy them. Thinking to himself, it's time to counterattack. Afterwards, he struggled to run toward the boundary. The immortal demons chased after him. Reaching out to grab Chansu, he risked everything and sped forward through gritted teeth. Finally, Chansu successfully escaped. He crouched down inside. That was too close. System notice tip. You'll gain bonus points for defeating evolved monsters. Chansu muttered calculatingly about bonus points. If those guys kill monsters, do the points go to me? Really? He curled his lips in an excited smile, thinking aloud that the situation has turned completely around. Chansu saw them crossing the boundary toward him and said, "My legion is leveling up, too." "Huh," he added. "You lot really can't make me angry. I won't let any bonus points slip away." Elsewhere, piles of files stacked up, Sujin weakly murmured. "Sir, these complaint calls are driving me crazy." She collapsed onto the desk. Desperate, the rumors about the royal apple are getting out of control. Wuhan clenched his fists and admitted our marketing was too successful, so we ignored it. But she's right. We can't let the rumors spread further. He slammed the table and shouted. "From now on, no one is to say another word about the royal apple. No interviews or answers to any questions. Stay silent no matter who asks." Sujin asked pessimistically. "Can we do that? It will be chaotic." Wuhan insisted even more. "Not a single word. Even with a knife to your throat, don't speak," he declared fiercely. "They need to learn a lesson." She saw a shadow appear behind Wuhan. Her face darkened as she stammered. "Sir," Sujin tense repeated, "about what you said. What if someone really puts a knife to your throat?" He replied, puzzled. "What, are you joking?" Wuhan's voice grew smaller. "Why ask such a stupid question?" He felt a chill and trembling, stammered that it seemed someone was standing behind him. "Probably not right now." Lone spoke up. "Sorry to startle you. I just wanted to say hello." Wuhan studied the man and inwardly couldn't believe it. This man is Rowan, the sword master. He thought to himself that a greeting wasn't a threat. Then Wuhan asked how he got in and if he had business to discuss with them. He merely placed his hand on the table, and Wuhan recoiled. Lone went straight to the point. "I spoke with your director, but he's too tight-lipped. I hope you aren't, so I'll ask now." He emphasized each word. "Where is the grower of the royal apples?"